What's up, everybody? So I figured I'd make a quick video doing a little boat review, boat tour. I have a Tracker Pro 170. I feel like a lot of the reviews I see are like 1 year review, you know, things like that. This is a 2019, so 4 years with it. So I feel like they, you know, you can get a real honest pros and cons review of it. So I figured I'd walk through, talk about what I like, what I don't like, what the boat has, what I've added to it. So yeah, let's get right into it. There it is. It's a blue Tracker Pro 170. Don't mind the stickers peeling off. That has nothing to do with, like, you know, the way they did it. I'm in the process of peeling it off, so it's not like it's poor quality or anything. I mean, from what I can tell, the stickers have always held up, unless obviously like I ran into something. But I want to take them off because I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But yeah, it's the back of the boat. Comes with a Mercury 4-stroke 50. Nice little touch with the sticker by my wife. It's worked a couple times, so I'm grateful for that. I added these boat buckles. It comes with just like regular kind of like ratchet straps, which is fine obviously, but they're a little inconvenient. This nice and easy, you just unbuckle it, boom, they're right there. I got these power poles, 8-foot power poles. Tracker says you got to use these if you don't want to void your warranty, which is actually kind of nice because it brings away a little bit. It just, you know, you attach it to your splash well, so it's not the end of the world, you know, if you mess up your holes. It's a little nerve-wracking putting 8 big ass holes in there. It's frog season, right? Putting 8 big holes in there, but it's actually a pretty easy installation process. They're pretty badass. But I've never had any problems with the motor. One thing that happened was like a hose came undone, but I just put it back on, zip tied it, and then I've never had an issue with it. Got a storage here, but it's just the gas tank, and then I have one 12-volt battery and then a cranking battery, and some of the wiring just for some of the accessories that I put on. That box has some tools in it. But yeah, I got that 12-volt, and then I got this 12-volt for the 24 system. This is also where I have my power pole hydraulic pumps, and just turned it on. Just raise it up. Those are pretty clutch. I gotta have them down a little bit because I park it in a carport, but those are by far probably my favorite accessory I've added to the boat. I've added quite a few things to it, but if I was to pick one thing to add to your boat, for me personally, it'd probably be the power poles, just because I usually fish relatively shallow. It's got the vinyl flooring, which I really like. Super easy to clean. You know, I just go up there with a pressure washer, wash it. Most of the stuff comes off. The only downfall is it does get very, very hot, which most of the videos that you watch that have where the boats have the vinyl, they all say that it gets very hot. I don't fish barefoot. Not the end of the world for me. But if, say, someone wants to lay down or whatever the case is, it does get hot. So usually I carry a towel. I got that lithium battery. That one just runs all my accessories, all my electronics. There, you know, I got the Garmin LiveScope unit. This guy's pretty cool because it allows all my electronics to communicate. So what's neat is I recently got the LiveScope. I can be up front, you know, looking at my LiveScope, and then I can also have it back here, so if somebody's standing back here fishing, they're able to see, and they can watch their lure, watch my lure, or just kind of see what's going on up front if they're not going to stand up front with me. This is obviously the front of the boat. It's a good size. You know, I fish up here with 2 people, and there's been enough room. Oftentimes I have way too many rods that I'll have 10 rods out, and I'm using 1 or 2 most of the time. But as long as there's not that many rods, there's enough room. One of the weird things is like they got the deck, right, and then they just stopped it here. But you got this whole area where you could have added more, you know, more standing room. So that's kind of weird. So I just added this Tupperware deal. I use it as a dry box because that's one thing. That's the biggest negative of the boat is their attempts at storage does not stay dry whatsoever. And that's kind of what you get with a lower end boat. I think it was like 13,000 or something like that. It's a 2019. So, you know, you kind of get what you pay for. It's not the end of the world. You know, I can keep things dry if I want to. That's just where I have a lot of my tackle. This is the live well. Like I said, that's your dry box. I happen to have that cooler before I bought the boat, and it kind of fits there perfectly, and it's, you know, almost the same height. So it acts, you know, as a little bit more standing room, and obviously as a cooler. This does not come with it. You got to add this guy. I would definitely suggest doing so, because standing there with your foot up here running the pedal, it's just uncomfortable for your back. You know, again, you're putting a gigantic hole in your boat. It's a little nerve-wracking, but it is what it is. These are obviously the stumps for my power poles. I understand it might be weird that they're like one uneven, you know, on opposite sides. I tried them both, you know, next to each other. Didn't really like it. I realize I fish most of the time on this side of the boat. You can probably tell this is more worn down than that side, but I fish on this side most of the time, I've noticed. And usually, you know, when I'm fishing, I want to put them down. That's why the down one's over here. That's why it's up a little bit further. The up one is over there. These are obviously my electronics. Usually the top one is running live scope now that I have it, and the bottom one is maybe like a map in or maybe a side scan type of deal. But yeah, it's a pretty good size. I just ran all the wiring through this tube down the side and then through the dash there. I think the boat came with like a 40 or 45 Minn Kota edge, which is fine, but I got the power poles a year and a half ago, so they're relatively new. So before then, just having to run the freaking motor all the time when it was windy, it was just killing it. It wasn't strong enough, so I upgraded to the 65 edge. This is the live scope transducer. This is just your regular one for Garmin. But yeah, so I went to the 65 24 volt. It's been pretty clutch. I like it a lot. And now that I have the power poles, it's not that big of a deal. I don't have to run them as much, as long as I'm under 8 foot, you know. This is the rod locker. I just took all my rods out just because I'm putting away a lot of the rods I'm not going to use probably during the winter. But I can fit, like, I have way too many rods for one, but I can fit maybe like between 10 and 15 pretty comfortably. Usually I have bait cashers in there. The spinning rods obviously take up a little bit more room with their reels, but I can fit 10 to 15 in there pretty comfortably. It's super long. I mean, I don't fish. I think the longest rod I have is 7.5, but I can get in there no problem. So you can get a pretty decently long rod in there. I've never tried to put like an 8-footer in there, so I'm not sure how that would work. Seats are pretty nice. I mean, like I said, it's a four-year-old boat. Really nothing wrong with it. I mean, you got this little guy, but it's probably just because I've hooked it on accident or whatever the case is. There is storage under the seat. Again, it gets very wet like everything else. That's why most of the stuff in these kind of little containers. Just kind of random stuff that, you know, you might not need, but then again, you might need, and it's kind of out of the way, so that's nice. You can have your fire extinguisher. You can have your lights. But yeah, that's the boat. I like it a lot. I've got a lot of enjoyment out of it in the 4 years. I've been fortunate enough to be able to get it. Before I got it, I had like a 12-foot, just kind of regular boat, you know, and then I would build a deck or whatever, which is fine. It works just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just wanted to get a bass boat, whatever that means. But it's been great for me. I mean, I like the fact that it's aluminum because, like I said, I fish shallow a lot. I like to go in the nitty-gritty, get dirty, super shallow. I'm not afraid to ding it up. I mean, there's so many scars on it, but I'm not nearly as nervous about going up there as I would be with a fiberglass. Got the 50 on it. I go between 30 and 35 miles an hour usually, which is plenty fast for me. And like I said, I have a lot of unnecessary weight. I got the 2 lead acid batteries, you know, they're, I don't know, 60, 70 pounds each. Sometimes another human being. So that adds a lot of weight. Sometimes 3, because, you know, I got my wife and then my kids. So, but 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour is plenty fast for me. You know, I get where I need to go. I don't fish the biggest lakes. I've been on like Potholes Reservoir and maybe like Lake Wacom are the biggest lakes, and sometimes I've been on there when it's pretty choppy. It's a pretty rough ride when it's windy. It's not the smoothest, that's for sure, but just take your time, you'll get where you need to go. You know, I'm in no hurry. But I've been in some sketchy stuff and I've gotten through it, but I'm usually pretty wet. You know, it's a bumpy ride, but other than that, it's relatively smooth. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a boat, I would definitely suggest this one, a model. I've been in the 175, which has been a great boat as well. And then I know someone that has, I think, the model below me, and it seems like a great boat as well. So I just was fortunate enough to get this one. So yeah, if you're looking in the boat, I would definitely looking for getting a boat, I would definitely suggest getting this one. Got some great memories in it. Maybe I'll try to put some of those memories at the end of this video. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.